Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, hope you enjoy the video, have a blast. And yeah, tonight we're going to do a book haul. And this includes some imported gifts from my wife, including a very special gift from a dear friend, subscriber. So stay tuned. Okay, so everyone, I received a very special gift voucher from a subscriber friend of mine, and yeah, he wants to buddy read this book with me, and that is the Southern Books Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. And now yeah, he also sent me a video on Discord which I found incredibly powerful and moving, and I want you guys to watch it, and with his permission I've added it down below. And just about living and being positive, and yeah, my wife and I were both very moved by this video, so check it out. And yeah, so the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix is the one that I wanted to read this year, and yeah, I think it's about the stranger who moves into town and it turns out he's a vampire, okay? But there's this woman who, a middle-aged woman, who have a book club and find out, yeah, that something's not right about him. And so they've got to save the town. And that's what I know about it so far. But I'm looking forward to it. So thanks, my friend. It's going to be a fun buddy read with you. Okay, next up I got some gifts from my wife. Now, the next three, possibly four, I think, the next three are imported. Then I got another one in the mail. So she's been spoiling me rottingly. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's spoiled rotten. And the first one is Bird Box by Josh Malerman. Now, I know there's a movie, yeah, from Netflix. I haven't seen it yet, so it might be fun once I finish this to watch the movie afterwards, because that's normally a better thing to do. And I did mention Josh Malerman as one of the authors that I still want to read this year. And yeah, so I think it's just about this monster. It's kind of apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic future. If you've seen what's out there, it's already too late. Mallory raises her children the only way she can, indoors, with the doors locked, the curtains closed, and mattresses nailed over the windows. The children sleep in the bedroom, across the hall, but soon she will have to wake them and blindfold them. Today they will risk everything. Today they will leave the house. Yeah, so apparently it's a very terrifying psychological novel, and I'm looking forward to it. So that is Bird Box. And all these were on my wish list. So yeah, she chose carefully. Okay, next up we've got a book that I've been looking for, even on my Kindle. I can't find it. And that is Zombie by Joyce Carol Oates. Now I know this has got mixed reviews, and apparently it's, yeah, kind of gross, and you're inside the mind of a serial killer, which is always something I love, so I wanted to read this book. And I'm going to go in blind. Yeah, a nice image of the author on the back, and I have read some of her short stories, which I enjoyed, so this should be fun. But yeah, apparently it's quite messed up, and it's also written in a style that's not everyone can engage with. I'll make up my own mind. So yeah, that is Zombie. Wow, I'm so excited for this next book, people. I desperately wanted to get my hands on this. Hey, yeah, it had to be imported. And that is Storm of the Century by Stephen King. Now this is an imported, yeah, it's a screenplay. It's Stephen King wrote this particular screenplay for the miniseries. And do yourselves a favor if you haven't watched this. It is freaking brilliant. And it's about a town cut off in a storm, and a stranger arrives. And all I can say about the stranger is, give me what I want and I'll go away. Yeah. And I'll never look at the song. What the teapot short, I'm just a teapot short and stout. This is my handle and this is my spout. You'll know when you watch the movie. and possibly when you read the screenplay. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. Thanks, my baby. Okay, and all the next books we found at our local store, but there's some good ones. First of all, I got Brian Keane, Urban Gothic. I recently mentioned The Rising, which is a very original zombie tale. Yeah, but it sounds brilliant as well. And I'm just going to read the back a little bit. When their car broke down in a dangerous neighborhood, okay, that's never a good thing, of the inner city, Kerry and her friends thought they would find shelter in the old dark row house. They thought it was abandoned. They thought they would be safe there until morning. They were wrong on all counts. The residents of the row house live in the cellar and really come out in the light of day. They're far worse than anything on the streets outside, and they don't like intruders. Yeah, I'm going to stop there. Yeah, this just sounds so much fun. Brian Keane is kind of not extreme, it gets very gory. From what I remember from the other book I read by him. So I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun. So that is Urban Gothic. Okay, hooray! I found another copy of Pet Sematary by Stephen King, because I lost my previous copy when we moved, and this is actually a freaking nice cover. See it? Yeah. And yeah, I've read this book. I'm not sure if I've read it more than once, but absolutely love it. Just a study in grief and horror, and just yeah, a study of love and how far you will go for a child. There's just so much more than that. I'm not going to give a review now, but this is an awesome copy with a nice picture of King in the back as well. Okay, next up we got a Omnibus, Chelsea Cain, one of my favorite thriller serial killer authors, and this is Heartsick and Sweetheart. Now I'm not sure if I've got Sweetheart, but I've read Heartsick, and it ranks as, besides Hannibal the Cannibal, as my favorite serial killer book of all time. It is twisted, it is sick, it's depraved, and it's just one of the best villains ever. So I'm dying to read. I know it comes across as a thriller, but believe me, it's got very strong horror elements, and I can't wait to start Sweetheart sometime. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay, next up we got a book I haven't read since the 80s, and that is Whitley Strieber, The Wild. Not in very good condition, as you can see, but yeah, I need to read more werewolf fiction. I think I have read this, need to give it a reread. And I also found another Whitley Strieber, and this is Unholy Fire, and it sounds very interesting as well. I think it's about a priest. He walked now like a god. He knew all the right places, the true night, the secret night. Yeah, Father John Rafferty is plunged into scandal when a young woman he has been counselling is brutally murdered in his Greenwich village church. It is a first act in a dark and dreadful drama, for this is no isolated crime of violence, but a manifestation of a spiritual plague so deep and subtle it will test every fibre of faith and courage in his soul. Yeah, you haven't heard much about this book. It says, the most terrifying story of good versus evil since The Exorcist. Not sure about that, but it'd be fun to pick up this author again, and that is Unholy Fire. Okay everyone, as most of you know, I read The Rats by James Herbert earlier this year as part of a read-along with John at Disquiet and Dragons. It is brutal, it is bloody, it is nasty, and it's damn graphic. It was a reread, I read it in the 80s, and now I want to read the entire series, and I'm so glad I found this, starting with Lair Part 2. And yeah, I'm going to join his read-along. He's doing all the James Herbert books. I will pick some other books as well, but the mutant white rat had grown and mated, creating offspring in its own image. They dominated the others, the black-furred ones, who foraged for food and brought it back to the lair. Now the dark rats were restless, tormented by a craving they could not satisfy, but the white slug-like thing that ruled them knew. Its two heads weaved to and fro, and a stickiness drooled from its mouth as it remembered the taste of human flesh. Yes, I'm hoping this is equally as horrific and terrifying, gory as the first one. And I look forward to reading it along with John and others on Disquiet and Dragons read along. So yeah, that is Le. Okay everyone, so the final book now is not a horror, but if any of you fantasy lovers know about this book, let me know. But I freaking love the cover, and that is God's Grave. Look at that cover, by J. Christoph. And I believe this is the second, it says here, Conquer Your Fear, Conquer the World. And I believe it's the second book from J. Christoph. I have recognized that name. New York Times best-selling author and winner of comes the second book in the Nevernight Chronicle. So you guys, let me know if you read this book, if I should seek out the first. But I just freaking love this cover. It's beautiful. So yeah, that is God's Grave. Oh, and before we go, just a reminder, or just an announcement, that I'm going to be appearing on Nikhil from Shelf Esteem's awesome channel for a live on Sunday nights, starting at 8 o'clock South African time, so it's probably around 12 and 2 your time in America. And yeah, we're going to be chatting about Speaks the Nightbird, Robert McCammon, and probably other stuff as well. Maybe Fairy Tale by Stephen King, although it's been a while since we read that, but we're just going to talk horror, so tune into that channel. And yeah, let me know if you read any of the books that I've just picked up. I'd love to hear from you down in the dark space below. And until next time, take care of yourselves, keep those pages turning, and cheers.